Moving on to other things that have been going
Fair
on
call.
in Parliament today. Now, you'd know about the workplace relations legislation that the federal government wants to put up, making changes about people who work in the gig economy, etc. One of the other suggestions that was put up by Tony Burke, the Industrial Relations Minister, or the Workplace Minister, whatever the hell they call him, is that bosses would be banned from trying to contact workers out of hours. Now, originally the proposal was that you would be fined if you were a boss who repeatedly tried to contact your workers out of hours. The Senate crossbenchers have raised an issue with this and have instead said, forget about the fines, just put a total ban on people being penalised for not responding to their boss out of hours. So the boss can continue to be as annoying as he wants to, but if you then get sacked for not taking that phone call out of hours, you have a fair work case. You've been unfairly dismissed, basically. They can't hold you back from promotions because you refuse to pick up the phone out of hours. To be honest, I think that's quite a fair compromise because, look, you know, I understand that there will be occasions where a boss is desperate and they need someone to come in because someone's called in sick, they need someone to cover a shift, and you call around, someone will usually pick up the phone eventually. Sometimes I get phone calls at like 8 in the morning and I'm barely awake. Oh, okay, sure, I'll trudge my way in and do some work today. But why would you stay in a workplace in the first place where you found your boss that annoying?
But isn't that the point? People will make their own decisions. Let the market decide rather than the government having to get involved in every relationship. Plus, it won't work across all industries. There are some jobs where you legitimately can say goodbye to it at 5 p.m. and not think about it again, and there's no legitimate reason to be contacted. But there's other jobs where you do need to be on call all the time. And it's confusing because then, you know, if you've got a new roster coming out, is it okay to email at that point or is it not? And so you're going to introduce all of this grey into relationships that should be able to be negotiated between adults and not have Tony Burke poking his nose into it.
Yeah, 100%. And at the end of the day, bosses will still try to move on someone who isn't pulling their weight and doing as they would like. They'll just find other ways to do it. And then what? You've got to go to Fair Work, or do you contest this in court? And how do you prove that my boss contacted me? This is why. Like, it just opens up such a can of worms. I don't know how anyone would use this mechanism that they're creating anyway, but it certainly wouldn't go well for them. At the end of the day, bring back personal responsibility. If you want a 9-to-5 job, get a jolly 9-to-5 job. And if you're happy to work longer hours or be on call, get one of those jobs. But don't come crying to the government if you choose one and get the other. Just leave and get a different job. I don't understand. Have we become such small, helpless people that a boss can't even just be like, oh, this person's not really suited to this role, do what's necessary then to maybe give them a more suitable role or bring somebody else on board to unfortunately pick up the slack? Or if I'm working for you and I don't like that you contact me so much out of hours, instead of making it the government's job, I simply go, I don't think I'm suited to this job. Clearly, I'm not what you want, and move on and find something else. It's ridiculous how much government, we're all like, oh, we're for small government, and then we want them to throw themselves into every single tiny issue.